Hello bunnies. In today's video I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, gaming. In the past couple of years I've come to love and hate at the same time. I want a divorce from it pretty much. What brings this topic up today is this: Dead Space 3 and Colonial Marines. Now I've been waiting for Colonial to come out for about 3 years now. In Dead Space, I've been following ever since the first one. What makes this so frustrating for me is that I realize, as being a grown-up, finding time to play games becomes harder and harder, especially when you have work and then other responsibilities too, like a dog, maybe kids, and then in the summertime, especially with yard work and everything else that goes with owning a house or anything else that requires bills maybe that have to get paid, and just socializing outside. Now the reason I'm frustrated with gaming is because whenever I sit down to play a game, especially something like Dead Space or maybe like Final Fantasy. Now these games are long, spend hours playing them. When I sit down, I feel as if I should be doing something else right away. Like the dog. I feel like if I'm neglecting the dog when I'm playing the game. But I want to play the game. That's the whole thing. I mean, I'm a gamer at heart. I was born a gamer. My first experience with gaming was a ColecoVision, and then the Nintendo. It just seems that there's game after game comes out, and then where do you find time to finish one and then start the other? My biggest gripe nowadays is, before I started playing Dead Space, I was playing Batman. Now I finished Arkham Asylum, and I just started Arkham City, which I think is great. But now that I'm playing Dead Space 3, where am I going to find time to go back and play Arkham City again? Not to mention that I was halfway through Final Fantasy 13. And I'm probably just going to forget about it, or not get the chance to go back and play it. I mean, in just thinking about this, I brought up some other games in the past that I realized that I either beat, which is, I can almost count on my hand games that I've beat, and games that I've actually maybe played but haven't gotten quite far through them. One of them was, let's see, games that I've beaten. I'm a diehard Final Fantasy fan. I fell in love with, like we all did probably, Final Fantasy VII. Now we all know it was an excellent story. I mean, who could forget the death of Tifa or Sephiroth? Everybody who's played Final Fantasy knows Sephiroth. I mean, I beat that game, and I have fond memories of beating it too, because we all know Knights of the Round, and that's when the Chocobos played a major part in the game. And then I tried to play Final Fantasy VIII. Now I got a bit ways through it, but I didn't beat it. Life took over, like always. I would love to beat it. I would love to find time to play it again, but I just can't. And that brings up another point of things I just would love to do and haven't played. This is Pokemon. Now, I started with the originals, okay? And as soon as they did the green, the silvers, and all the other black to whites, I just thought that was too much anyways. But I was in the beginning, I was a diehard Pokemon fan. And OCD kicks in, I want to get them all. I tried to, I played it all the time. I maybe had 75 Pokemon out of, what was that, 150? So I was a fair way in. Next up was Chrono Trigger. I played Chrono Trigger first back on the Super Nintendo, and being an RPG fan, I loved it. It had an excellent story. and I beat it. Because I was a kid, maybe that's why I had time to beat it. But from what I remember, the end boss was freaking hard. The follow-up on the PlayStation, Chrono Cross. I played maybe an hour's worth into it. But I knew the story and I read about it, so it doesn't seem disappointing that I didn't get to play it all the way through and beat it, but the fact that they made a sequel to everybody's loved game, Chrono Trigger, yeah, you had to have it. I think I was more of a fan of the Digimon series than anything. Those were more appealing to me than the Pokemon. Don't ask me why, I don't know. Maybe it was just the fact that these were kids and they had their own pet pretty much instead of I guess Pokemon was the same way, but Digimon just struck more of a chord for me. But again, I didn't really beat a lot of them. I don't even tell you the truth. I don't even think I beat any of them. I mean, the first one was alright, but then I think the fourth one. No, yeah, this one. The Data Squad. That was fun because it was easier to evolve to what they call Digivolve the monsters. Growing up, of course, because I had Super Nintendo, I had Nintendo, so I had Zelda. But Zelda was alright, but I didn't officially fall in love with the character until Ocarina of Time. Because then you had Kid Zelda and older Zelda. And just playing as an adult Link was just fun. Because he had the Master Sword and he had all his weapons. But then you brought out Twilight Princess, and you're officially older Link, and it was more of a mature kind of a title, more of a mature game. I liked Twilight Princess more than I liked Wind Waker. The cell shading just didn't do anything for me. It didn't feel Zelda. Maybe that's because of Ocarina, and I needed Twilight just the same way. Final Fantasy, what is this? Final Fantasy 11. Now I like that because it incorporated the Final Fantasy 12. Was it 12? Final Fantasy 12, the MMO for the computer, into 12. And then the leveling grid was kind of nice. Oh no, it was Final Fantasy. Yeah, Final Fantasy 11. Okay, was the MMO, which I didn't really like because it was MMO, and I'm more of a solo kind of player. And then you had Final Fantasy 10. It was a nice story, but if I had more time to get into it, I would have probably liked it better. And I know I feel like I'm ranting, but this is just something that really just gets to me every time I look at my games, and I wish I could have played more of them. I wish I could have beat them, but just new ones keep coming out all the time, and it's like, where do I find time in my day to just sit down and forget about everything else and just play a game? Because right now I'm trying my best to focus on playing Dead Space 3. Because in the back of my head, I want to play Aliens. Because I've been waiting for 3 years for this to come out. And the fact that they come out one after another it's just frustrating. Because I know that by the time I get to Aliens, something else is going to come out. And the fact that I heard of the announcement of PlayStation 4 is even worse, because what am I going to do with all these games when at the end of the year, when the new system comes out, and I hear that they're working on backwards compatibility, but being a gamer with a PlayStation 3, I feel as if I was let down because they didn't have it. And as soon as the next wave of games come out, those are going to go back into a box, and I'm going to forget about those for years unless I do another video updating it saying, oh, how I wish I could play a Game Boy game, or the PS1, or even an Xbox game. Because, thank you Microsoft also, but you guys aren't backwards compatible. If you are, it's very slim pickings on what games it is. I mean, just by looking at this, I did beat Fable. You're going to get a kick out of this, because I do too every time I look at it. But I started Fable 2, and it has a dog, which, being a dog lover like me, obsessed with dogs, the beginning was just great. But I didn't finish it. This, I'm going to show you this. See that? The wrapper is still on. It's a joke, pretty much, because I haven't even been able to open it to play, and I know that if I open it, it's gonna be like a 3-hour patch to update the game. The Assassin's Creed series. I beat 1. I attempted to play 2. And thank God for 3 when I put it in. It gives you an update on the story, which I was worried about with Brotherhood and all the other side stories, that I had to buy that to be able to keep in touch with the whole franchise, but thank God it didn't. I didn't have to do that. I had to beat this because just the story-wise was Gears of War. I'm more of a Gears of War than a Halo gamer. Halo just never did anything for me, but Gears of War did, and just the fact that by the end of the third game, you had everything nice and tied up. But what happened throughout the series is just phenomenal. The way the story goes, it was parts were just touching. I'm not giving any spoilers away, but there were just a lot of heart-wrenching moments throughout the series. Here's another one. This is funny too. I bought Infamous because the story sounded good. I mean, it's like take Magneto and put him in a real world setting. You know? And here we go again. Infamous 2. If you could sell just by this, the plastic is still on. Haven't even opened it. Never even played the first one. I should be doing something else. I shouldn't be sitting here playing video games all day. But then again, I'm a gamer and I love it. I know I'm sounding like I'm going on a rant, but like I said, this is touching for me, and it's hard these days, especially with growing up. But anyways, guys, leave a comment down below. What's your favorite game? What games have you beaten? And what franchises do you follow religiously? Like, I follow Final Fantasy, and I follow the Gears of War. I'm going to get Judgment, Dead Space. Ever since the first one came out, and with the jump scares, I follow that now too. Resident Evil. But anyways, guys, that's my rant. I feel like I'm dragging on. But anyways, like I said, leave a comment down below. Hit that like button for if I mention any games that you like, or if you prefer one system over another. Hit that like button. If you don't like this, don't touch that other button. But anyways, subscribe. All right. Anyway, that's it. All right. Bye, guys.